Hello everyone, this is the Mad Gary 222 here, and I'm bringing back an old video series that I had on here called WWE Talk. I haven't done it in a while, since like 2012-ish time. Um, Mainly off of because I was doing other things and such, like I started doing my mix videos and just making other little miscellaneous videos and all. So I'm deciding to try and bring the segment back, and I'm going to try and keep it weekly, of course. If more people start to watch, I'm requesting mailbags for me to answer on the show for a segment. But I'm not going to depend on it this time. I'm going to try and keep up with just news going on. Like today's episode, I'm going to talk about last night's Raw, the March 2nd, 2015 episode. So I'm going to give you the results, talk about some of the segments, just give you my opinion on the entire show. One opinion I'd like to start with was there was a lot of botching of dialogue on last night's episode. Like, I know Roman Reigns isn't too good of a talker, so it's not a good example. But Triple H and Booker T, they've been in the business for a long time. They're pretty good at promos and such. They don't really botch as much as any other like young guy coming in, like that Reigns. And it was just odd. It seemed like there was a lot of botching even with other wrestlers with their segments and their promos and such. And I don't know if it's from the constant Vince rewrites that I heard been going on and such, but like it was just rare for me. Like I thought that was something to at least point out before getting into the show. But getting into the show, actually, the beginning of the show started with Seth Rollins, and of course, he started talking about the whole him Jon Stewart feud. It was actually revisited through the I don't know what you call them, the little video sinuettes and all, or I don't know. Sorry, I'm gonna really mess up a lot because it's been a long time. But yeah, they brought up last week on the Daily Show. Seth Rollins showed up and pretty much challenged or called out Jon Stewart to come out on Raw Monday. He wasn't there. He was saying like he was supposed to show up later in the night. So this just started with a typical Rollins promo, and he was pretty much comparing himself and saying that he was one of the best wrestlers, comparing himself to Jordan. He actually made a joke about being well. First, he made a joke. I forgot to point this out when I first said it. He was saying that him and Jon Stewart's little confrontation or feud, as you would call it, is kind of like the Jerry Lawler Andy Kaufman feud, but he said it was different because he's gonna teach Jon Stewart a lesson. And then, of course, Roman Reigns came out to interrupt, and then Rollins told him that he was a better wrestler than him, and then also brought up the fact that that Paul Heyman's been bringing up every week, that he's not good enough to beat Brock. Like last week, Paul Heyman did a segment saying how, what do you call it, Roman Reigns versus Bruno Sammartino, Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Stone Cold, just all these years, just all the big name stars of those times. He would have his money on Roman Reigns, except for at WrestleMania. He said, and I quote, he was the right man at the wrong time. So Rollins brought up that whole aspect and was saying that he's been in the ring with both Reigns and Lesnar, and said that he can beat Brock, of course, and that Reigns won't be able to beat him because he's not as good. Reigns, of course, was saying that he was getting tired of hearing Rollins. He attacked, the J&J security, and Rollins walked out angry and all. So, yeah, Reigns also bossed his dialogue there, and that's pretty much going back to my main point that I made at the beginning of the episode. Well, a few minutes ago, or a few seconds, minutes, whatever it was said. After that, it went to a Rollins Orton segment backstage where my bad, Randy said that Rollins should go to the Authority and demand him and Reigns to have a match to prove a point. Rollins kind of got like, at him about it and stuff, and was saying how he's the best wrestler and all this kind of stuff. Randy seemed kind of offended, but like, he kind of went with it. I'm not sure what they're doing with Randy. He's kind of like a tweener. It's like he's part of the Authority. He's of course helping the Authority, showing the aspects of a heel, but it's also feuding with Rollins and not really liking him. I kind of feel like they're going to set up a storyline within the next, well, the storyline's going on within the next week or so. It's going to probably be Reigns versus, not my bad, not Reigns. It's going to be Rollins versus Randy. Because if you're looking at it as I'm looking at it, you had Evolution in Randy's time where Randy was that young up and comer. He was betrayed by Triple H, and I think it's going to be one of them things where he's not being betrayed by Triple H. He's actually being the, as Jon Stewart would say later on, the poster boy for the Authority, which is going to get Randy angry, and I think it's going to escalate at Mania. After that, we had Bad News Barrett versus Dean Ambrose. Of course, R-Truth was at ringside again, where they showed a silhouette again of last SmackDown, where it was Dean, and I'll be honest, I don't know who Dean fought. I'm actually trying to look into it. I took some notes. Okay, it was Dean, and I don't know who he was facing, but Wade Barrett stole the title back. Then Barrett had a match later on in the card. Don't hold me to this, I feel like it was Dolph Ziggler. And during that match, Truth was also ringside, and he stole the Intercontinental title. And then backstage, Dean and Truth met up together, and Dean told Truth he wanted the title back, and Truth said, take it. Like, he likes the, I don't know the word, I guess he likes the publicity, I guess you could say. He likes the, hype, I guess, like saying, like, oh, he's going to be in the Intercontinental ladder match. And he kind of wants hype to it, to kind of like Truth's name. He's not playing either side. It's more he's the comedic relief of the match, of course. And, he's kind of like a filler wrestler, and he's kind of showing that point. But, pretty much the match consisted of Truth stealing the title again. Then Luke Harper showed up behind him, which started a bunch of Walking Dead jokes. They were saying how he looked like, it was like the effects of The Walking Dead or something with Harper, and I thought it was kind of funny. But when Harper was walking out with the title, Barrett seen it and was kind of like yelling at Harper, asking what he was doing, which led to the end result of the match, which was Dean Ambrose winning by pinfall. I think he hit a Dirty Deeds actually to finish it. And at the end of the match, Dean confronted Truth about the title, and Truth was of course playing comedic role, saying I don't know what happened to it. This led to a Miz and Mizdow segment, which was revisiting. They revisited last week's Raw, where Mizdow was thanking Miz for all the stuff, like taking him under his wing, and how he was getting his own commercial. The Miz came in Saturday or Thursday night. My bad. I'm just again really out of it. But he came out Thursday during a promo where Mizdow was shooting his commercial and all, and Miz took over for him, and he was having a world premiere of the commercial. He made a few references that this was like De Niro in Raging Bull and Pitt and Fight Club. I guess like something about Mizdow mentioned, oh, you should probably check the video before you show it to everyone. And he was saying how De Niro and Pitt never did that, and I guess he's comparing the performance. I'm not sure. I wasn't getting it really. And, the commercial turned out to be, Niagara. I'm just gonna leave you and fill in that. And it was towards the Miz and all, and Mizdow came in a little bit. I think the whole promo was to make Mizdow look strong, because I feel like their alliance or tag team is going to break up soon. If you could even consider it a tag team, it is. But Miz gets heated, slaps Mizdow, calls him out, and there's a quote from Miz, "Your success is from me," which it's kind of true in a way. Mizdow does lead the team now. The Miz is, of course, an established mid-carder and all. Mizdow being a little bit younger, of course, hasn't been in the business as long as Miz. But for me, Miz is more of that comedic heel role, kind of like R-Truth. Mizdow actually has a nice career ahead of him. They're pushing him, of course, in that comedic role, which I'm sorry for. And then Mizdow apologized by the end of the segment. We cut to a commercial break, and then we came back to Bray coming out on stage with the lantern, of course, and there being a wedding casket. It was, another week, another Bray calling out the Undertaker segment, where, he compares the casket to the Undertaker and then burns the casket. I got a quote. I'm not sure if it's a correct quote. Again, was really tired at this point. He says, "Where I come from, everything burns, and there's destruction. Like me." He burns the casket and goes on telling the Undertaker to show his face, how he should come out, and he really he wants this match with Taker at Mania. My opinion on that is, what is there for the Undertaker to lose? He lost his streak at last year's Mania, of course, WrestleMania 30 to Brock Lesnar. And what does Bray honestly have to gain? I'm actually, if you watch the Noah Mania channel, Noah Astonished the Scoop, he actually mentioned that recently. He says, exactly what I just said. The Undertaker's old. He's done almost everything in the business. What does he have to lose at this point, or even to gain? Bray, what does he have to gain? After that, it was a 6-person tag between the new tag champions, Cesaro and Tyson, with Natalya, versus the Usos and Naomi. Of course, this match ended with the Usos, by way of pinfall by Naomi to Natty. There was a little bit of back and forth action there. It wasn't an interesting match for me. There was a little bit of action. It ended relatively quick because Tyson had tagged in Natty. Naomi was forced to come in. They went back and forth for maybe a few seconds. Natty has an ankle injury from last week. They showed a silhouette of this. Naomi doing something during the match, Natty falling, her ankle getting hurt, and then at the end of the match, Natty ended up, Natalya Hart. Well, yeah, Natalya Hart. Or no, Natalya Neihart. There you go, my bad. Natalya flipped out on Tyson. Tyson hugged her, and it just ended there. There's a lot of tension between the couples, the Total Divas drama, for better lack of words, because most of the divas are just pretty much their storylines are based around the show at this point. But after that, we had a Sheamus return promo. Sheamus is returning soon. I'm kind of happy about this. This brings another solid mid-carder. Maybe even you throw Sheamus after Mania into the title scene. It's a nice, fresh face to see, and I'm pretty happy about it. After this led to one of the longest segments of the night, I have to say, besides maybe the Daily Show with Seth Rollins. I think this was one of the longest. John Cena was to address his WrestleMania 31 plans. They show flashbacks from last week where Rusev denied John Cena, and then of course brought out the Russian flag. They have been popping it up like on the one side of the ring, and Cena's been just down and out about it. Cena goes on record, of course, and tells Rusev that he's a marked man. He wants to go after him, and then he officially announces himself into the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which, if you remember from last year, was the debut of this match, where Rusev, or not Rusev, Cesaro won, and he threw over Big Show, huge WrestleMania moment and all. John Cena pretty much at this point, I don't understand why they're pushing him against Rusev. Of course, he's going to get the title match, but like getting into it, they're showing like the whole build up to it. There's a few weeks till WrestleMania, so of course, within the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we're going to end up finding out what's going on exactly or how they're going to elaborate on it. But he says he's entering himself in, and then Stephanie McMahon comes out and talks of Cena shaming the match and telling him that he couldn't compete. John Cena, of course, called him a bitch, or called her a bitch. It was pretty funny, but I find it funny. It's like, PG Star drops, some type of profanity. It was pretty comical. But Stephanie McMahon was bringing up the idea of John Cena not making it to WrestleMania, not being in WrestleMania. He's been in the last 10 WrestleManias, most of them in a main event aspect or a main event match. Some of them just regular in the card matches. Um, they're of course going to put Cena in Mania. They might not. I think they are, honestly. I don't think it's going to be in the Andre the Giant Memorial. It's of course going to be Rusev versus Cena for the title. I don't know if they're going to make Rusev lose in that chance, but I'm just getting ahead of myself here. But also Cena botched his dialogue at some point. That's another one. John Cena botches dialogue. It's rare to see Cena botches dialogue at this point, and it was really, really shocking for me to see that. But Stephanie McMahon threw out a point that a lot of wrestlers like Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan, I want to just throw this out also as a side note. There was a lot of mention of older wrestlers, like mainly Bruno Sammartino, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, and The Rock. All wrestlers who left the WWE, of course. Sammartino more for retirement, I think, and then Hogan, went to WCW. Stone Cold quit. The Rock quit. They all went and did their own stuff, and Stephanie McMahon brought up the point that all these stars have left. What would be the difference without John Cena? And says, I think a really good point. You can look at it in both ways. John Cena would be nothing without the WWE, and the WWE, John Cena would be nothing without the WWE. Not the WWE would be nothing without John Cena. The WWE, of course, would have filled in someone else. Of course, they could have filled in anyone that they wanted at this point, but I don't think it could have been just anyone. John Cena was the guy at the right time. He, of course, has the talent, he works hard, and he's proven himself. Because if you want to look at the wrestlers who came in at the time he did, or even a little bit before that, it was Brock. Rock was coming up as one of the bigger stars. He was established for a while, but he was coming up as one of the younger, bigger stars. He was going to last a long time. Batista, and I think Randy Orton. Randy's a solid guy, he works a lot, but he's been injured here and there, out for long periods of time. The Rock left for acting. Brock just doesn't care about the business, left for football at first, then went to the UFC, and didn't come back for years, and decided to come back around 2013. John Cena is the only wrestler who's actually fought through semi-injuries and just worked hard. He was a working horse, of course, and as long as Cena stays healthy, of course, he's going to continue being the face of WWE. And that's something to honestly look at. It's important, And, then Curtis Axel came out with his new tagline, Axelmania. He has this, chip on his shoulder, as, I'm pretty sure JBL or one of the announced members said. He wasn't eliminated from the Rumble. He was the only man still in it, and just, a bunch of other stuff. It pretty much came to the point of Curtis Axel winning the Mania match against Rusev, and Stephanie McMahon tells John Cena he has to prove to Rusev that he deserves the title shot, and the start could be John Cena versus Curtis Axel, which of course led to a match. Axel was doing a lot of taunting at the beginning of the match. It was just unnecessary, just Hulk Hogan reference, doing the and just, the Hogan taunts. And John Cena told him, I'm giving you a warning, you're a young guy, I don't want to hurt you, but if you, let this match start, you won't walk out. Axel let the match start. I know Cena hit a few moves. Oh yeah, another thing I want to say. Before the match started, like as John Cena came at him, a CM Punk chant started. The WWE still held up on this whole, CM Punk idea. I guess gonna constantly hijack the show with the chants and all. I find it unnecessary at this point. Punk's burned every bridge. There's no point of him, or even there's no real chance right now. Maybe in the future, but even in the future, he made it very clear that he won't be going back to WWE. He's not interested in wrestling, and he wants to go to the MMA. So another chant started up, and that John Cena hit a few moves and ended up winning the match. Rusev came out afterwards to tell John Cena no. Of course, there was a hijack, and there's a Daniel Bryan chant like hijack where they were saying yes. Rusev called out the crowd and was just like no, and another send in the Russian flag, and that was the end of that. After that, they had a WWE.com exclusive interview pop up with Michael Cole with Michael P. Hayes and Arn Anderson, two really well-known WCW, AWA guys, and he did an interview on Sting, of course, giving the whole setup to Triple H coming out. This was a long segment, of course, too. Triple H talks about everything that's been going on with Sting, and he brings up Booker T brought up on the commentary, no one can control Sting, so he brings him up. They talk about it, and Booker T keeps talking about how how it would make sense for Triple H pushed for Sting not to make it to the business during the whole alliance and all that push after the business was bought, and Sting wouldn't be interested because a lot of the guys who came in, they weren't looked at. Booker was the only established real main eventer to come in, and just other guys looking for their Time Warner contracts and everything. Like none of the guys really wanted to come into the WWE. They just didn't see any interest. And also the fact that it's brought up that Sting can't be controlled, of course, and just using that as an excuse. And then Triple H said a quote here to Booker. I found it like it was funny and all. It was you act like you're one of these kids who know about the ins and outs of WWE politics, but they don't. WWE is in the technological age. There's no secrets like there were in the old wrestling. You can pretty much find anything you want that's going to happen on the show for the future. You find out all these plans or spoilers everywhere. I'm pretty sure us as fans nowadays, us marks, and just all of us out there, we can find out whatever we want whenever we want about the business, what's to come. There's no real surprises at this point, and it's just a fact. I think we all are as knowledged on this WWE politics as the guys themselves. But Booker says no one can control Sting. Of course, back to that. No one can control Sting. You had Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff brought up, and then Triple H fires Booker T, which is Triple H said as Booker T was leaving. He used him as an example to show his power, and say how much power he has about everything that's going on. He also said pretty much along the lines, Triple H is the man that took out WCW. He's going to take out Sting, too. He's going to, end Sting. Of course, setting up for the WrestleMania 30 match, I see, it's one of the more exciting matches on the card for WrestleMania as of right now, besides maybe the Intercontinental ladder match. Maybe the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, but there's no point in it there. Like, Sting, Taker, maybe even Triple H, they have no need being on the card. I apologize. There's just no need in them. Just those matches, the Bray, Taker, Sting, Triple H. It's just nonsense at this point, at least in my view. We had a from Fastlane, a woman's title rematch between Nikki Bella with Brie Bella versus Paige. Brie ended up winning by she retained the title by DQ because Brie tried to interrupt. Paige kicked her out. Paige started to dominate, of course. Then Brie came in after that, attacked her. And then we seen the return of AJ Lee. She came out and attacked Nikki and Brie. Brie or Nikki, I'm not sure which one, ended up trying to attack AJ. Paige kicked her. They left. Backstage, they then had an interview between the two of them. Paige wasn't sure why AJ helped her and what's the stance on them. AJ pretty much said something along the lines of, be friends of your enemies or something, and just was pretty much saying they're cool for the meantime. Possibly a, Bella's versus Paige and AJ thing. I could see it being interesting. It's alright, it's the Divas division again. Pretty much everything that goes on there is for total divas. But I like Paige as a wrestler. I'm really sad that the women's division isn't what it was for a while there, because my favorite Divas division aspects were when you had Beth Phoenix, when you had Mickie James, Lita, Trish, even Tori Wilson, Stacy Keibler. Today's Divas division's okay. They just are kind of more of a side piece in certain aspects, where you have Naomi Usos, Natty, Tyson Cesaro. Then you have the four main divas, which are the Bellas, which are used in a tag team. Then you have Paige and AJ. So that's forced into some type of tag team where you altercate. Not that many divas. You have Summer Rae, who's more of a commentator or backstage interviewer, and I just wish they would send the NXT guys up, like people like Charlotte Flair, um, and just divas who are in the NXT, and even younger guys, to be coming up into the into the scene to freshen up the mid cards or the championships, like Adrian Neville, Sami Zayn, um, Kevin Owens. These guys are older. They've been fighting for a long time. You can actually see it in one video. I'll leave it in the description of again, Noah Mania channel, Noah Doddish the Scoop. Go check him out also. I've been watching him for a long time and a long time fan. I love his videos. I just wanted to he brings up and he says the best that I think. Even like I asked a question I posted in his comment section, of course, leave him mailbags. I sent it personally myself. I sent this question and he answered it the best. So if you want that opinion, get it from him, because that's almost exactly how I feel, down to a T. But then we had the Daily Show with Seth Rollins segment. We finally had Jon Stewart come out, and Rollins made a few jokes about Jon Stewart, him asking or hosting the Oscars last year, a few New Jersey jokes, and then a movie he directed, and just a few other things. Just pretty much stabs at Stewart. Stewart came out and was complaining that he didn't earn to host the Daily Show, and he didn't even earn where his spot. He was given it by the authority. The title shots were given by Triple H himself. Even the Money in the Bank he brought up from a few months ago. Kane could have been the Money in the Bank winner, but he gave it to Seth. And just how the authority's been pretty much giving him his chance. He actually brought up a few wrestlers: Bruno Sammartino, Gorilla Monsoon, Mick Foley, and Stone Cold. You see Stone Cold, Bruno Sammartino. A few guys that have been brought up a lot during the night. And how, he doesn't deserve it. Rollins tries to attack, but then Randy Orton's music kicks. Seth's kind of confused by why he's there, and then, what do you call it? Stewart gives Rollins a low blow, runs out the ring. Randy walks out. Stewart runs up with that comic relief, celebrates and everything. And then we have a backstage interview with Stewart, who's kind of paranoid about, Rollins coming out back or whatever. Yeah, and that's the last for that for a little bit. Then we see Luke Harper come out with the Intercontinental title, and he has a match with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, of course, wins by submission with the S-Lock. Um, they brought up the rest, a few more guys for the IC title match, the ladder match. People who are already in it for WrestleMania 31 are Bad News Barrett, Dean Ambrose, R-Truth, Luke Harper, and Dolph Ziggler, of course. After the match, Bad News Barrett takes the title back, which leads to an altercation between him, Luke Harper, Bad News Barrett, and Dean Ambrose in the ring. When all men are down, Truth steals the title. Truth gets attacked by Harper, who takes the title back. Dolph Ziggler ends up super kicking Harper, stealing the belt, and then climbing up the ladder. Daniel Bryan does his typical yes taunt while Dolph's climbing up the ladder. He points to Daniel Bryan, and actually, this was up on Twitter a while ago because, a few weeks ago after the Fastlane loss, Dolph Ziggler really wants a match with Daniel Bryan, so I'm guessing Daniel Bryan will now be in the ladder match. So we'll probably see, at WrestleMania, of course, like a lot of people wanted to see when it was brought up, the idea, Dolph Ziggler versus Daniel Bryan. Of course, it'll be in the ladder match, so you have the other guys, but it could be really interesting. I like both guys. I think Dolph should be in the title, scene at this point. And then seeing Daniel Bryan, it's the Intercontinental title. It's getting some type of prestige at this point, besides the treatment making it look like the hardcore title, but, it still has more credibility than Brock holding it for all these months and only defending it a few times, and having the same guys, Cena. I think I seen Orton in there. Well, Cena, Rollins, Reigns, and just all that kind of pointless nonsense. We had sorry, my bad. We had a Hall of Fame inductee announced also. We had, for the 2015 draft class, Alunda Blaze, aka Medusa. She's a 7-time women's champion around the world, of course. She's most known for the Monday Night Wars when she had the WWE Women's Championship and dropped the belt in the trash can on Nitro and announced that came to WCW and all. In Medusa, she was an AWA champion. She got her first woman's title and got to defend the title for the first time in WrestleMania history in her time since the Fabulous Moolah. She got to defend the title at Mania. It was a pretty big deal. Actually, some fun facts I didn't mention during her little video and all. She was the first woman to hold the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. She trained the likes of Tori Wilson and Stacy Keibler at the WCW Power Plant, which is, of course, their training facilities, if you didn't figure. And she drives monster trucks. She was the 2004 co-champion at Monster Jam World Finals and has done a lot of things in monster trucks and all. After all that, Randy Orton and Seth Rollins had a backstage segment where Randy was just telling him that he was only trying to defend him. He didn't want him to lose his, have to pay the fines or be sued by Stewart. And he didn't want him to lose his job and stuff. Just, Randy, arguing or whatever. And then tells him that he won't help him during the Reigns match. To which Kane and Big Show come out and say that they're going to help him along with J&J Security. This leads to a Paul Heyman address for Brock Lesnar because there was a conspiracy going around that Brock Lesnar wouldn't show up to WrestleMania because he was at the UFC fight Saturday, the Ronda Rousey fight, which is mentioned in Paul Heyman's address. And he tells him that he'll be at WrestleMania 31 with the championship, and he'll be wherever he wants. He shoots on Daniel Bryan at Fastlane with Reigns. His belief on how he won't win at WrestleMania and how no one called him out, out of Bruno Sammartino, Stone Cold, The Rock, and all them other guys on Twitter or said anything to Paul Heyman about the whole Reigns comments because they know that he'll lose at WrestleMania. He also makes a pretty out of taste, if I might say so myself, about Andre the Giant. The whole Andre the Giant's dead. It kind of reminded me of the segment after Eddie Guerrero's death between Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton. Eddie's dead. And I just think if it's a legend who paved his way for the business, and you make like a comment like that, it's kind of disrespectful. I thought it was kind of wrong. Again, WWE's gonna do what they want, and then Paul Heyman actually makes a Ronda Rousey joke. A pun about Brock being there on Sunday. Saying Brock is the Ronda Rousey of WWE, and then he says pretty much to sum it all up, Reigns is gonna get beat up by Lesnar. And then Reigns' music hits, which sets up for the main event. You have Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, where Rollins ended up winning, of course. Rollins has, Kane, Big Show, and JJ security. Randy comes out at some point to watch it, and, he cheers on Rollins and stuff. At one point, Kane hits Reigns with a chair while the ref is looking at Rollins and everything, but Rollins only gets the 2 count. Randy Orton pulls Reigns' leg to give Rollins a quick roll-up, which was the finish to the match. Reigns jumps from the ring, takes out the Authority, while, everyone's, like, celebrating. The Big Show, I know, was, calling for Randy Orton, was pretty much like, yeah, go Randy, yeah, Randy, that's how we do it, and then he was calling for him. After that, Big Show gets thrown in the ring, he gets Superman punch, and then speared, and then Rollins jumps from the top rope and then gets a huge spear, which I thought was insane. Even the announcers, Michael Cole, JR, and Booker were just in shock from the sound, the intensity of the spear. And, it was a pretty good way to close off the show. I liked it. I don't really like Reigns, but I liked that. But, sorry again. Pretty much to sum up my thoughts on the show, I thought it was an alright Raw. I think a lot of the segments dominated, which of course is a Raw. I think it was better than last week's Raw, where there was like little to no wrestling. This week there was wrestling, there was a lot of interruptions. It ended in, interferences, disqualification or whatever, just interferences in general. I liked the Daily Show with Seth Rollins and, having Jon Stewart on the show. It was pretty cool. And I really like the John Cena thing they're doing. I don't think he deserves the U.S. title. And I don't mean it by he hasn't proved his point. He's a 15-time champion. Countless, WrestleManias, just everything. I think Cena deserves whatever he wants in the business at this point. He kind of did build the current generation of wrestling. Wrestling got boring for a while, and he decided to be that main face and step up there. But all in all, I think that, he doesn't deserve the U.S. title. I think he deserves to be in the main title. Not right now, of course. They're trying to push Reigns. I think it's stupid. I don't think he deserves it. Yes, he does deserve it, I guess, for the Rumble and everything, but I just don't think it's good. I don't think his character's ready, and I think looking at it as, oh, third-generation wrestler, he's going to be the next face of wrestling is quite stupid. I also did like the Curtis Axel, the Axelmania. I kind of hope he gets a push because I do like Axel as a wrestler, and I can't wait to see the Intercontinental ladder match. Of course, they're doing a great job building it up. It has all the great mid-carders who I'm really hoping to see within the title scene. At least some of them. Daniel Bryan, of course, doesn't really make sense in the Intercontinental. You're pushing him down like Cena. But, it could add to the match. It could help build, because with, his injuries or everything, he could get injured again, Bryan. And it could build guys. I think Dolph even deserves a bigger title. Oh, well, it looks like a great match. And, yeah. Alright, I'm going to end the video here. I'd like to thank whoever watches this. Please leave a mailbag. Tell me how you think of the show. Tell me how I could change the show. Maybe even like give me opinions for segments and all. And I'm gonna try and do these once a week and all. Come up with topics. Just probably we'll do reviews of Raw for a little bit. Maybe a few just related wrestling topics. I'm actually gonna have a host for certain episodes. My cousin Kev. He'll join me soon and all. And again, I want to give a shout out to Noah Donish, Noah Mania. He inspired the show to start. When I first started making the WWE Talks, he inspired this. I really want you guys to check it out. And just thank you, just in general, for everything and all. I promise I'm going to try and make more of these. And thanks for watching and all. Mailbags in the comment section below.